We have seen a tremendous amount of thunderstorm activity all across the area. I don't think anybody has escaped thunderstorms so far today. As you know, if you've been tracking with us, we've seen our share of both severe thunderstorm and also tornado warning. So there's quite a bit of spin once you get yourself up in the atmosphere a little bit, and you need that spin to offset what we call the updraft and the downdraft. And we have the ability to look inside the storm. We have the ability to look at it in the third dimension. So that's what we're showing you right here. Many tops, well over 40,000 feet, and in some cases we could be approaching 50,000 feet. This is with what we call echo tops, or the highest point at which we're seeing precipitation falling from the sky. So 50,000 feet, that's way up. In the heaviest area of reflectivity, it's lofted. It's up there at around 20,000 feet. That's very intense. That is likely a pretty good hail core, again, just south of Hardensburg. I would not be surprised at all if this thing's putting out tennis balls as it makes its way into Hardin County. Keep in mind, E-Town right here, so that hail threat is approaching. This is the Western Kentucky Parkway. It's north of the Parkway into Western, and now moving into central portions of Hardin County. Major hail threat with this. And as we were talking about, Mark, that possibility there at any point in time of it putting down a quick spin up, dropping a quick hose, we know that it's possible with this type of a storm. It is. And we've got winds here in the green. That's air that's rushing towards the radar site very quickly. In the red, that's air that's rushing away from the radar site. A couple scans ago, you didn't have that red and green together. Now you do. I would call this broad rotation. Tornadic rotation is now developing. You can see that inflow into the south side of that supercell. So you're getting this rotation around the bottom of the storm. There's that inflow. That's that notch. And again, that's part of that circulation that may be developing right now, Mark. As Mark, you and I talked about, this is the part of the viewing area that pretty much has been untouched so far today. So there's good heating down there. Good instability. I don't see any reason why this storm doesn't continue to generate rotation. This is a classic hook echo. I think a lot of people are familiar with what that is. That is a supercell. Now, if we look underneath it, we can see the hot spots. This is the velocity where you got the inbounds and the outbounds. And right there next to each other is a very bright indicator that that thing is spinning and spinning hard. Where the dark cloud is, that's where that air is being lifted up. It literally is being pushed up in the atmosphere thanks to the rain that's falling behind it. That rain causes rain-cooled air to rush out, and it lifts up the more moist, the more buoyant air out ahead of it. That causes that rising air action, causes these darker clouds to form in a line known as a shelf cloud, and it is indicative of some gusty winds, and I believe that's what we're seeing out there right now. So don't be surprised, 40, 45 mile per hour winds, wouldn't you say there, Mark? Yeah. I say it goes without saying, but it should be said that a severe thunderstorm warning by definition can and sometimes will produce a brief spin up or a localized tornado. So, and I like it when the Weather Service issues the severe thunderstorm warning instead of the tornado warning when they're not sure. Agreed. If they're not getting, high confidence that there's something occurring, that's what a severe thunderstorm warning is for. Those winds mean business, and we're estimating wind speeds upwards of over 60 miles per hour. So, of course, that is damaging. The other threat, as Mark has been talking about, is the potential for hail. This is a real supercell, so there's quite a bit of spin once you get yourself up in the atmosphere a little bit, and you need that spin to offset what we call the updraft and the downdraft. If you offset those two, you can sustain hailstones aloft, and they can grow and grow and grow. And you can see that latest indicator there, perhaps hail 3 inches. Oftentimes we'll overestimate hail a little bit, but even if you, again, cut that in half, you're still talking about ping pong ball sized hail. We've had reports earlier of perhaps up to close to tennis ball sized hail coming out of the Owensboro area. Mark has turned on all the lighting. Boy, it's hard to see the data for all the lighting, but just know that this is a very active thunderstorm. And as mentioned, those cloud tops really beginning to peak. We're getting quite a bit of heating, and that's the reason that we're seeing that explosion of storms right now. That tornado warning that goes until the top of the hour. Again, that does include all of central portions of Breckinridge County, including Hardensburg. So you need to be in your safe place now. If you haven't already taken that shelter, now's a really good time to do that. You can see that thunderstorm, Mark, getting really close to Hardensburg right now. We had the map up that showed the area in blue. That was the severe thunderstorm watch that remains in effect for much of the area. Here it is. It does officially include our metro Indiana counties, but just know that because you've seen the rain, as Mark had mentioned, that threat not quite as great. Now, here's the main threat. The tornado warning does continue for a little while longer. This is for western Hardin County, but great news for the folks there in E-Town up and down the 65 corridor. Instead of continuing with the tornado warning, they've transitioned, as Mark mentioned, into the severe thunderstorm warning, which means that we just don't think it's as likely that we're going to see that spin up or that tornado drop out of the sky. Needless to say, though, we're still talking about severe winds and severe hail for much of central eastern Hardin County. That's also southern Bullitt County. That would include Lebanon Junction. That's near Boston there, and far western portions of Nelson County and also far northern portions of LaRue County. That's where that warning is for you as well. That extends all the way to New Haven. There's Boston, as I mentioned, E-Town here, Lebanon Junction, Radcliffe. That's the entire area boxed in by that severe thunderstorm warning. Again, this guy's got a history of producing large hail, damaging winds. We have had rotation at times that has basically alarmed the Weather Service enough to issue a few tornado warnings on this. But as mentioned, that tornado threat appears to be low enough that they're just going to go forward with that severe thunderstorm warning. Near Radcliffe, 5 minutes from now. E-Town, 12 minutes from now. Again, a severe thunderstorm capable of destructive hail and perhaps damaging winds near 60 miles per hour. Boston, 27 minutes from now, and then perhaps eventually out towards the Hunters area at about 43 minutes from now. Again, a tremendous amount of energy available to the atmosphere at this point for those areas that have not seen the rain. You haven't seen the thunderstorms out there along the 65 corridor. Also, as you make your way towards the Bluegrass Parkway, that's where these storms are going. I would expect them to maintain, if not increase in intensity here as we go throughout the next couple of hours. This is the main area of concern still for central portions of Hardin County. That's that supercell thunderstorm located right about here. The circulation located looks like very close to the town of Rineyville. But again, we're going away from the tornado threat, and we want to emphasize the hail and the wind threat associated with this particular storm as it makes its way just to the north of E-Town. E-Town, it looks like you're going to get a glancing blow from the actual supercell itself. What you're going to see in E-Town, though, are those winds really pick up with what we call that RFD, that rear flank downdraft. It's an outflow of some cool air that's being pushed out from that thunderstorm cell. And what you'll probably see, in addition to some gusty winds in E-Town, is the reformation of thunderstorms. You can see them occurring to the west. We're seeing some good energy in the upper levels, and that's just firing up these storms behind that outflow boundary. And this could lead to some tremendous rainfall rates here. Yeah. Grounds are already saturated for many of our western counties right now, and with more heavy thunderstorm rains, I think this is going to be an issue, especially for Breckenridge County, Meade County, perhaps into the metro area, where you go back over the weekend and we saw widespread 1 to 2 inch rainfall amounts, and now we're seeing these rainfall rates that Mark has here. Check it out, 3.5 inches per hour. That's a ton. These storms are not moving that fast, and so with them refiring and training, flash flooding could become a real concern. Agreed. For some of our western counties and central counties here eventually later on this evening. We've been dealing with a supercell type thunderstorm that has shown a hook echo with it. You can see that hook now making its way into eastern portions of Hart County. I have noticed how they have replaced that tornado warning, though, further to the east with a severe thunderstorm warning. So hopefully that means that it's weakening a bit and we're going to be allowed to go back into our regularly scheduled news programming. But that circulation, Mark has it highlighted there. It's moving off to the east out towards the Summersville area. Eventually Greensburg, you may be dealing with that.